is -1, 0, 1, 2, and this is 3. And we have 1, make that a little higher. 1, and then 2. All right, so we have a closed circle at -1, and it goes, let me draw with a difference. It goes down like that to the origin, and then it goes up to an open circle for 1 at y equals 2, and then has a closed circle at 1, open circle at 2, and then a closed circle at 3. Or should it be at 1? These should be higher. I'm sorry about that. Let me just lasso it. All right, so we are given this graph. Oh, and then there is a open or a closed circle at
at the
2.
x2 and
Yeah.
the y2.
Yeah, I forgot about that. All right. So 1.2 asks us to find the limit, and I guess I should write this function is y is equal to f of x. So they want us to find the limit as x goes to -1 from the right of f of x. So that means we're going to look at -1. Right? We're going to look at -1. And we're going to look at the function as it's coming from the right. Okay, so we don't care about the two-sided limit, we're care about where it's coming from the right. Because it would be different if this was a two-sided limit. So we're coming from the right. We're gonna follow our eye. We're gonna even like if you're taking the paper exam, like follow along, coming from the right.
Okay.
And see where you end up at the asymptote of -1, which we see is at y is equal to 1. Which is our f of x. Y is equal to f of x. So the answer for this one should just be 1. Or was there a specific one? I'm sorry, I didn't even ask. Is there a specific
For
1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5? Or is it just all of them are confusing?
I understand the 1.5, but the 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, because I was confused on like the plus and the negatives. That's why.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So what the pluses and negatives mean, the plus just means it's coming from the right side. So if the plus is on the right side of the number, that means it's a right-sided limit.
Right-sided limit.
So this one, this is a right-sided limit. And it's because of this plus right there.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, if there was, let's do the same limit, but with a double-sided and a left-sided limit.
Okay.
Right. So and then we have the limit as x goes to -1 from the left, right, of f of x. And so since we have that sign right there, this is a left-sided. So you notice all we did for the right-sided limit is we just followed it visually with either our finger or just our eyes to get to, until we get to -1.
Okay.
But what do you notice about the left side of the function left of -1?
There's like nothing, so it should be like undefined.
Yeah, I think it's just it does not exist, so you can just write dn.
Okay.
It does not exist, or you can write the limit does not exist.
Okay.
And then we know our double-sided limit exists when the right-sided and left-sided limits are equal to each other.
Mhm.
So we've already done the left-sided limit for as x approaches -1, and we've done the right-sided limit. So what would our full limit be?
Would it be just um I'm thinking like 1 or is it
Mm,
no? Because like positive is
So
1.
remember, for the full limit to exist where it doesn't have this, where it just doesn't have that negative or positive on the right side, this is considered a double-sided limit. Or double-sided, meaning it considers the function coming from the left and the right. And for this to exist, then these two have to be equal to each other, otherwise it doesn't exist.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
yeah.
So this would just be dne.
Yeah.
It just does not exist.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, because there's like none at the other side, and there's this side. Okay.
Yeah, because the one-sided limits don't match up, then that
Uh-huh.
means the full limit doesn't exist.
Okay.
Even if the right-sided limit did exist,
Mhm.
or not the right side, the left-sided limit exists, and let's say it's like the number 2,
Okay.
this answer would still be it doesn't exist
Oh,
because 1 doesn't equal 2.
yeah. Okay.
Like if it was something like if there was an open circle right here and the function was coming like that, if we followed our finger along the left side, right,
Mhm.
we would see that it approaches y equals 2. But since this equals 2 and that equals 1, the full limit doesn't exist.
Okay. Okay.
This, sorry, what was your
Oh,
question?
sorry. Um, what if it's like a closed circle?
What if it's a closed circle?
Yeah, at
The
the.
closed, the circles, whether it's closed or open doesn't matter.
Okay, doesn't matter. Okay.
All that matters is what your function is going towards.
Okay.
So you see this lone circle up here? This is meant to trick you. You will not have a limit approaching that number simply
Mhm.
because there's no function that's going towards it. There's no lines coming from that circle.
Okay.
It still has to be there, so the function is defined at every point,
Okay.
but but it's never going to approach that number.
Okay.
It's approaching y equals 1, even though the function equals 2 at that point. Does that make sense? What a function is equal to at a point is different than the limits.
Yeah. Okay.
At least with graphical functions like this. So does that kind of clarify it for 1.2 for you?
Yeah, it clarified it a little much better. Because I was like,
Okay.
I got it wrong, so I was like, I didn't understand it.
Yeah. It's confusing, especially because like the other limit questions we work out very differently than this one.
Yeah.
Um, and then you said you needed 1.3.4, correct?
I'm sorry, sir?
You said you needed 1.3 and 1.4, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So for 1.3, let me see. Can you hear me okay? I
Yeah.
just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for 1.3, it's asking for the limit as x goes to positive 1 from the right side. So we know it's a right-sided limit. And we're looking at positive 1 this time. All right. So we're only looking at the right side. So if you need to draw like a line right here or something
Mhm.
to know that you're only looking at the right side, then that's totally fine. So we're just going to follow along the function from the right side. So we see it goes straight. It doesn't matter that that circle is open there because the function is still approaching this part at y equals 1.
Okay. So when it meant like when you said it was like coming from the right side, that means just that right side just coming in instead of us going to the right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you start from the right side and then
Mm.
go towards that
Oh,
point.
oh, okay, that helped.
So yeah, so from this line, since we're looking at 1, this would be considered the left side of that point, and this is considered the right side of that point.
Okay.
And you know that'll change depending on like what number you're looking at. Like for if we were looking at -1, that line would move all the way right here,
Okay.
and then it would be the right side, and then this would be the left side.
Okay. That helps clarify.
Yeah, so if you need to draw like that asymptote line, if you're doing that one-sided limit, I really encourage you because
Yeah.
that means you're only going to look at that right side of the function. Nothing on the left side even matters. So the answer to this one would just be 1. Right? It approaches y equals 1. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, and let's do 1.4. So that's x approaches 2 from the left. So it's going to be a left-sided limit. And now let's redraw these asymptotes. And we're looking at the left-sided limit. Alright, so at y equals 2, or sorry, x equals 2. So we have this asymptote right here. Right, so this is our right side and this is our left side. So our right side doesn't matter, we're only looking at our left side. So we're just going to follow along with our finger until we get to that 2 point. So we're coming from the left over there, we go up there, we then see it jumps down here and approaches this value right here. And this is where y is equal to 1.
Okay.
So it should just be the limit of 2 from the left is equal to 1.
Okay. Oh, okay. It makes better sense now.
That's good, yeah. So are you planning on retaking exam 1? And are you only going to do one exam, or are you going to do another one as well?
I'm not sure. I maybe try to do another one. I'm gonna kind of review the other one. I want to, but I'm not sure yet. I think about it.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't need it, then I mean, there's no point like in really doing it. Like if this is the only one that you need to boost your grade in order to get a B or an A or whatever you're aiming for, or a C, it doesn't matter. But you know what I mean. Like it's just